Hello. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the workflow that we plan to use at the Assistive Technology Center for document remediation for categorizing and delegating responsibility for documents that need remediation, as well as how to do the document remediation with Adobe Acrobat. We are going to be using two different tools and programs for this process. One is MeisterTask, which you can see here. This is something that you can download as an app to your phone or use through the browser. The other thing that we're going to be using is Adobe Acrobat Pro, which should be installed on the Student Assistant Station in the lab. With MeisterTask, what we plan to do is to use this platform for assigning responsibilities and roles in documents to student assistants, and this way they can categorize what their work is currently at and also have their work reviewed by a second student assistant, so we can have a second pair of eyes take a look at it. And also it can be checked by me and John Whitley, who is our document remediation expert here at the campus, to ensure that it has been remediated properly. The way that we plan to use it is we will get a document that needs remediation from a professor for a class. John or myself will put it as an individual card here into the MeisterTask website, and it will be populated into the very first column that you see here on the far left that says Initial Documents. And let me go ahead and make a brand new card right now, just so you can see what it looks like from the very beginning. So I will click on the plus sign, I'll say Test Card 3, and I'll hit Enter. I'll click on there, and then I will say Add Attachment. Upload. Let me find a document that we can use as an example. Camera Basics Remove Remediation. Once it gets attached to the card, you can see the file has been uploaded here with a preview of the PDF. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the unassign and assignment tool that's at the top of this card to assign these to individuals to be remediated. So for this example, I'll just go ahead and assign it to myself. And then I'm also going to add a tag onto here. And for the student assistants, you don't need to worry about this. This will be something that me and John will worry about. For the tags, this is what we plan to use for kind of marking up the card on some of the things that it might need and some of the information you might need to know about it. So for example, for this, we'll say it's a winter 2023 course. And then we'll also say, Alexis, we would like you to check this afterwards and be a second pair of eyes to make sure everything is done correctly. So we'll add the tags. It's been assigned, and it has the tags associated with it, and it has the PDF uploaded. What we would then need to do now is you'll get an email that says, such and such card has been assigned to you, and it's now your responsibility. What you will do as a student assistant is, let's say you are Jeffrey, and this is been assigned to Jeffrey, is you'll take this card, put it into the In Progress column, which is to the column right to the right of the Initial Documents column, to signify that it has been started on and you've started the process of remediating this document. Then what you'll do is you'll go to the card itself. You'll go to the document that's been uploaded to the card. And then you'll say Download. And then we'll say Camera Basics Example. And then we'll open this guy up with Adobe. And let me close this one out first. And we'll go to File, Open, Camera Basics Example. And now we have the document opened up in Adobe Acrobat Pro. Again, Adobe Acrobat Pro should be on the Student Assistant Station, and you should be able to get signed in with your ID at csusb.edu email address if it asks you for any sign-in options. And if you have any trouble getting it going, let me know. We can take a look at it. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to fix our view to make it so that we only see one page at a time. So we're going to come up here to View, Page Display, Single Pane View, back up to View, now down to the Zoom option. Go to the next menu, and then go to Zoom Page Level. That way we're only seeing one page at a time. In order for us to remediate a PDF, what we're going to do is we're going to add and use the accessibility tool that comes with Adobe Acrobat Pro. In order for us to get that working, we'll come over here to the right side of the program. We'll click on More Tools. And we are presented now with all the different tools that are available in Adobe Acrobat Pro. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to look for the accessibility option. We're going to click Add. It's now been added to the right and is part of our tool set. It's just that easy. We'll come back up to Camera Basics, and we'll click on the accessibility option. The very first thing that you want to do is click the accessibility check option. And what this will do is it'll initiate a check of the document and see what kind of accessibility errors exist in it. And if I've remediated or unremediated this correctly, there shouldn't be any accessibility options on this whatsoever. So there should be a few issues that are found on this. So I'll click on Start Checking. And you can see on the left side of the screen, we now have the accessibility checker open, and it's also found a few errors with this particular document as well. Even if it's been properly remediated, you're always going to find at least 2 errors, one of which is logical reading order. That will always need to be verified and verified that it is in the correct order. Just because a document has the reading order set up does not mean that the reading order is in the correct order. So you need to have a human being actually go through the thing and make sure that it is properly reading in the correct order. You also need to have someone checking the color contrast of the document to make sure that if it is using colors to signify information, that you have the proper color contrast for that document. And I'll show you how to use a couple tools to check that as well later during this video. Let's see what else it found. Tag document, I'll show you how to use that in a second. Alternate text, I'll show you how to fix that in a second as well. So first things first, let's go to the first issue, and probably the first thing that we want you guys to work on, and that is tagging documents and making sure that the reading order is set up correctly. When a user who is blind or low vision is going through a document that's a PDF, the way that they are allowed to actually go through the document is through something that's called a screen reader. A screen reader is a piece of software that allows users to have information that's on screen read aloud to them based off of what keys they press on the keyboard. So if they're on the school website and they want to have all the links that are on the school website for a particular page read aloud to them, they can press Insert F7 and it will give them a list of all the different links that are available for them to travel to. If they want to look for all the buttons that are on a page, they can press Insert F8, so on and so forth. There's a lot of different options for users that have screen readers to get the same information as everybody else, but that only works if the document or website has been properly remediated and is properly set up for screen readers to use. That's where we come in, that's where John comes in, and that's where you guys are going to be coming in as well. You're going to be helping us set up this documentation to be read correctly with a screen reader. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go over to the right side of the screen. We're going to click on Reading Order. What this is going to do is it's going to bring up this menu, and with this menu, what we're going to do is tag this document so that way it is being read in the correct order with the correct information for all the different pages. So for example, the very first thing that we want to do is we want to mark what the title of this document is going to be. So this is a very simple document. This is something I made a couple of years ago as an example for this kind of stuff. Name of the document is Camera Basics. So when you are making a document or when you're making a website, what you have are these things called headers. And headers allow individuals who use screen readers to kind of logically navigate through a website to figure out what's on the page and kind of orientate themselves based off of where the headers are at. So the header 1 for this document would be header or Camera Basics. Header 2 for this document would be Table of Contents. Next header 2 would be Main Camera Principles. Next header 2 would be Camera Manufacturers, which is right here. And then next header 2 would be Photographers to follow. For heading level 3, that would come after heading level 2. So if I were to come up to Camera Basics, that's header level 1. Table of Contents, heading level 2. Main Camera Principles, that's heading level 2. And then underneath heading level 2, we have Shutter Speed and ISO, which are different principles that that photographers can use to kind of manipulate how a camera takes a picture, those would be considered underneath main camera principles. So we would consider these to be heading level 3, and then the text underneath that would just be text/paragraph. So what we need to do is we need to mark up this document so that it has the proper encoding for it, so if a user is searching by headers on a website or on a document, they know where they're at any one time based off the headers, which we're going to be doing right now. So first things first, we're going to go to reading order, and let me show you again from the beginning. So we click on accessibility, we go to reading order. When we click on reading order, we kind of get this crosshair option for the cursor, and it allows us to kind of click and drag and select things on the screen. Let me do that one more time so we don't get this thing up here. And I'm going to select Camera Basics. And when we select that, it gives us a couple of different options for how we want to tag this thing and how we want to mark it up. Again, because this is the title of the document, we're going to say heading level 1. And we now have our first tag available on this document. We can view the tags by coming over here to, oh shoot, how do I do this? View, Tools, Show, Hide, Navigation Panes, down here, there it is. Okay, so if you want to see the tags that are on a document, come up to View. Oh, dang it, I just had it. View, Show, Hide, Navigation Panes, and then Tags down here at the bottom. And this will show you all the different tags that are in a document that allow users who have screen readers to kind of logically navigate the document. So the very first page is all good to go. Next page, this is the table of contents. Table of contents are a little bit tricky, so for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark table of contents as heading level 2. I'm going to do that one more time so it doesn't get the thing right above. And then that's done. And then on another day, when you guys are a little bit more comfortable and you got your sea legs for this kind of stuff, we'll show you how to do table of contents. So for this page, what we're going to do is main camera principles. Select that, heading level 2. Then we're going to do shutter speed. That's a heading level 3 because it falls underneath main camera principles. And now we're going to get to the actual text for the document, and we're going to say this section right here. Let's do that one more time. We're going to select text/paragraph. So when a user comes to this, they know, oh, this is actual text for the document, not just a header. Now we come to our first image. When you have an image in a document or in a website, you need to make sure that it has alt text associated with it. So if a user who is using a screen reader comes to it, it can read the alt text and they can know what the context of the photo is or what the image is, and they're not missing out on any important information. In order for us to do that, what we're going to do is use the same reading order option. Select the image. We're going to say figure, a caption. It now puts this cross over the image, but what we're going to do is right click and then edit alt text, and we're going to write up a description of what the image is. So I'm going to say shutter speed. Also, make sure you never actually put image of in these because it already is being announced as image of or picture of or graphic of, so it would just kind of sound like it's stuttering on a screen reader. So I will just say the different shutter speed options on a camera and their effects. Is it effects or apex? The faster the shutter, the slower the shutter speed, the blurrier the image. And I can't remember correctly if that's correct or if it's the other way around. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've done photography. We're going to click OK. Then we're going to go down to the next part, which is ISO. We're going to hit that. And we're going to say heading level 3. And then the text paragraph. And we're going to say for this heading level 3. And then same thing for this image. And then figure caption. right click, edit alt text. The different options for ISO exposure on a camera, the more, the higher the ISO, the brighter the picture will be. Higher ISO leads to grainier photos. And these can sometimes be more of an art than a science, so if you're ever questioning what the proper alt text of an image might be, you can always reach out to us and ask what should the proper alt text for this be. Okay, then we'll click OK. Then we'll go to the next one, aperture, same thing, H3, there we go, H30, heading level 30. Then we'll select this, and then for this, and then edit alt text, aperture, and I'm just going to add that just for now. Hopefully you guys get the idea of what the purpose of alt text is. So we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to come down here to the next heading level 2. This actually should be on the next page. This was a mistake on my part. My apologies. Camera manufacturers, this is heading level 2. So I'm going to say heading level 2, mark it as is, and then Canon. We're going to say this is heading level 3. And then heading level 3, and then heading level 3. And then for this is text, but it's also a link. So what we want to do is we want to be sure that this is actually linking to where it's supposed to. So what we're going to do is, 1 second. Let's do this. We're going to select that and put it as text paragraph, but we're also going to come down here to the right side, and we're going to say properties. We're going to say link, close, document's trying to take you to usa.canada.com, allow, yes. All right, cool, the system works. So what you want to be sure to do is you tag it as a text/paragraph, and then you right click on the tag that's been created over here on the left side of the screen and change the properties so it's properly being displayed as a link. That way, if a user is using the screen reader through this document, they know, oh, this is going to take me to a website. That way I can be sure to either click it or not click it, depending on like what my needs are at that one moment. So we'll open up reading order again, and we'll go to there. We'll mark it as text field or text paragraph. Come over here, properties, click the drop-down menu, and then close, and then we'll do the last one. And then we'll say text paragraph, properties, link, then close. For this next section for tables, tables can be, again, kind of tricky, so we're going to skip this one for now. Again, when you guys are a little bit more acclimated to this whole process, we'll teach you how to do document remediation for tables, but for right now, we're just going to skip this. And then for the last page, we have a list. Now, lists are tricky, but I think you guys will be able to do them. So I'm going to go over it really quickly and show you how to remediate this. So first things first, we'll go to reading order. And we'll say photographers to follow. And then we'll say, I think it was heading level 2. And then let me actually open up my reference one. 1 second, please. And let's check this guy. Heading level 2. Yes, so, okay. So we'll do heading level 2, and then we'll say new tag. And then we will say list. So that way, when a user is using the screen reader is going through this, they know that there is a list underneath photographers to follow. We'll say list, and then we'll make, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 list tags. So let's do new tag, and then we'll do list item, and then we're going to do 4 more of these. New item, list item, list item, list item, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more. And then, let's see here. I'll also link the video that I used to get this. That'll also be helpful for you guys. So when I send the email that has this video, it'll have this document and training course as well, because this helped me out a ton. So what we're going to do now is we're going to nest these underneath the list tag up here. So that way it can be properly read and the user knows, oh, this is going to be underneath the list tag. So we'll go ahead and put that right there. So go ahead and click on the first list item, and then click on the last one and hold shift while doing so, and it'll select all of them. Then when you have all of them selected, what we're going to do is going to click and drag until, if it wants to cooperate with me, until we see this kind of arrow line thing underneath the initial tag. And we want to make it so that way it is nested, kind of like a folder within a folder underneath that tag. What we then need to do is we need to mark up the individual numbers on this list so that way users can know what the individual list lines are. I forget the proper terminology for this, excuse me. But what we'll need to do is this. Let me zoom in. I'm going to shade a little bit. We'll highlight this number and we'll tag it as text paragraph. I'll highlight this number, text paragraph, and then this number, and this, and then this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to convert all of these to a, let me check my notes and change a little bit, to a label. So we're going to change all of these to a label, which you can do all at once. So let's do this. We'll, again, shift click and select all of them, and then properties. And we're going to change all of these to a label. And we're going to, again, nest them underneath the list items that we had above. But we're going to do it for each of the individual lines as well. So the first label will go under the first list item, so on and so forth. So now we have the first one underneath the first list, the second one underneath the second list, and so on and so forth. Now we need to tag the actual names that are in this list as well, which we can do with the lbody tag. All right, let me go ahead and highlight this. Text paragraph, and let's right-click you, change this to lbody. Lbody, right? Yes. Okay. And we'll put that underneath here for now. Whoop. Let's do that. There we go. LBL, lbody. Cool, cool. First one's done. Let's do the second one. David Sasso. And then text paragraph. And then we'll right-click, properties, list item body. Okay. We'll put that underneath here. Beautiful. Then we'll do the third one. And that's going to be reading order. Brennan Wolfel is really good. You should follow him on Instagram if you're into this stuff at all. Can you tell I got into photography during quarantine by this list? It's also really hard and expensive. Let's see here. List item body. Then, let's see here. We've got 2 more to go. A Wakita, text paragraph. Change that to level body, or list body. Where'd it go? HRJK. Cool. Then last one, and then that'll be it for the tagging. Properties, list item, body, and there we go. So now we have this document mostly tagged. Again, we are skipping the table of contents and the table in this document as well, because we'll save that for another day. I don't want to throw too much at you any more than I already have. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the accessibility check, and we're going to say start checking, and we're going to see that tagged content has failed. Let's see. Let's do this. So I actually do know why it's saying failed. It's because it's recognizing some of the blank spaces in this document as being individual characters, and also some of the things that we haven't tagged in the document, such as the table of contents and the table at the end, as well as a blank space at the end as well. But all the things and the blank space in between. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to say skip rule just for now. And I'm also going to come up here to logical reading order, and I'm going to, let's do this, view, page display, show high, notification. Let's bring up the reading order tree. If I were to check this out, this will give me a list of all of the different items on the pages that we just tagged. And we can check from here to make sure that everything is in the correct reading order. So far, so good. Cool. And then page 4. Aperture. Yes. Image. Camera manufacturers. Canon. More information. Cool. Everything seems to be working just fine. And cool. So all of that looks good to go. So reading order is good to go. If we were to come back up here, we can say pass. Color contrast, we use a tool called Color Contrast Analyzer. This, again, should be on the Student Assistant Station. If it's not, let me know and I can install it. What we do with this is we basically check to make sure that the color contrast of a document actually passes. And because I'm using 2 screens, it decides it doesn't want to work right now. So what we're going to do, color contrast analyzer. We're going to use this site to check our document and see if it passes color contrast. So let's do this. So this is a website that we can use for checking the color contrast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to say the white on black, that passes. That's like the go-to color contrast that you want. What we might be concerned about is the color contrast of this text with the white background. That might not pass. So to check, we can go foreground color and we'll get a little dropper option. We'll come up here to the document. We'll come to the darkest part and we'll say That looks all good, but then just to be sure, we'll click on the dropper option for the background color and select white. And as we can see, our contrast ratio is very good. And if we were to come down here, it's really easy. It basically just says it passes for all the things. We can actually check and see what it would look like if we use a different color. So you can see what it might look like when we do the yellow. Yellow usually doesn't pass. Oh, it does on this. Look at that. Let's do another color that probably, let's do white on white and see what happens. Yeah, so white on white does not pass whatsoever. So white on white text is very inaccessible. Don't use that. But this blue on white passes very well. So color contrast passes, reading order passes, tagged images pass as well. One of the other things that we can do is we can actually go to the, let's see here, primary language passed. Primary language is basically, is there an actual language that's associated with the document? Some documents will have it initially, some won't. When you do the initial accessibility check, it'll check to see if there is a language associated with the document. If there's not, it's probably going to be English. So all you'll need to do is right-click it and say fix this rule or fix, and it'll give you an option of what language you want to associate with the document. Title, passed, same thing. Whatever the title of the document is or whatever the title of the article or journal is, you can right-click on there and say fix this, and you can type in whatever like the title of the article is. So let's say, just for now, this article is all good to go. Again, there's a few things that we're missing. We're missing the markup for the table of contents. We're also missing the markup for the table, and then a few other minor things as well. What we're going to do is say save as camera document, camera basics example, remediated Kevin 1.4.509 to kind of reflect the day and time. And we'll save that to downloads. And we're going to come up here. I'm going to go back to MeisterTask. Remember MeisterTask at the beginning? We're going to come up here and we're going to upload that document that we just made and just remediated. Click and attach it. Kevin attached a file, camera basics remediated Kevin, and the date and time. What we can do now is, because we finished our initial pass and our initial check with the remediation, we can now say, okay, what is the tag for the next person to actually double check this and make sure everything's done correctly? Because it's Alexis, we will put it into the next column, click the card, and then come up here and then assign it to whoever that person is. I haven't added you guys yet to this MeisterTask website, so you're not going to see any other names besides John's and I's. But then Alexis, what she would do is kind of like give it a second pass on her own and kind of just verify that everything has been done correctly. For all of this stuff, and we used to do this with captioning as well, it always helps just to have a second pair of eyes to verify that you're doing things correctly. Like, we're all human, we all make mistakes, we all miss one or two things every now and again, so just having a second person go through your work and verify that it's been done correctly is always just going to be a big help. So we move it to the next column, we assign it to the next person, maybe send them a message on Teams and say, hey, I have finished my initial pass, can you give it a second glance and look as well? That person will download it, take a look at it. If there are any changes, you add that change to this card, and then you put it into the next column where John and I can check it. And if it's all been done correctly, it can be moved into the final column of done, and we can click the complete button. Best part of this whole thing. This is still very much a work in progress or process. There are probably going to be some changes with this initial design in the next couple of months while we kind of work out the kinks and the minor things of like what exactly do we want you guys to remediate and what exactly do we want you to change. Do we want to make you responsible for reading everything in the document, or do we only want you to do small things like the reading order or adding alt text to a page? Document remediation is a very, very big field, and we haven't even talked about Microsoft Word documents or PowerPoints or Excel or Microsoft Word or any of that kind of stuff. We're just doing PDFs for now. So watch this video when you get a chance. Watch the other videos about document remediation when you get a chance. When we are closer to the school year starting, I'm going to be assigning some of these cards to you guys just so we can kind of work through this process together to see like what kind of issues do we need to resolve before the semester begins. I want to try and get as much of this solved and done as possible, so that way when the school actually does start, school year actually does start, we can have as smooth of an experience and workflow as possible. But that's only going to come with feedback from you guys. So check out this video. Let me know what your thoughts are. Play around with the Adobe Accessibility Remediation tool. And let me know if you have issues or questions on any of these things. Thank you so much again for your help, and I'll talk to you later.